As an attendee in an Enlightened Driver program, we do want to spend some time getting philosophical and challenging people to think outside the box and to think about their own driving styles and where they're heading in their lives. But we also want to give them some concrete tools, some things that they can take away from the program, either in their own lives and developing pathways, or for companies to live as more enlightened drivers, or even for couples and families to live as more enlightened drivers. The intersection between these two books is very, very strong, and the lessons to be drawn from thinking both as an enlightened driver down the road of life and moving at a pace of grace is very important. What's a good example of some of the things that an attendee would take away from the program?
Excellent question. For an individual, I think really looking at the life wheel, when you talk about, us being individual drivers, really to look at the life wheel and to examine all the different parts of our life, our family life, our personal life, our playful life, our business life, and there are other ones there.
Right.
Also, in terms of corporations, looking through the lens of 5 strategies for strategic planning. What are our strength virtues as an organization? What are our growth virtues? What are our teachable moments? What lessons do we need to be learning right now?
Right.
What boundaries do we have? And what boundaries do we need? And how do we honor the spirit of an organization or an individual? How do we have celebrations, traditions, rites of passage? How do we really honor one another? Is there time to reflect, or do we just hit our target and then keep on driving through at 1,000,000 miles an hour?
Like hitting something on the highway and just keep driving, which I think they call a hit and run.
But taking a pause for applause and really celebrating, and that builds unity within an organization or a family or a marriage. And
Exactly.
the last strategy is companioning. How well do we really listen to one another? We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Right.
So how well do we listen another to their own truth? And is there something, an elephant in the boardroom, that we're really not talking about? And how can we bring in...
And is that in our blind spot, maybe? That's right.
Absolutely. And so how can we look through the lens of road rules and a pace of grace to put everything on the table, to address it with integrity and respect, and then keep moving forward?
And some of it is also about, walking the talk. Just this morning, I was on the Washington Beltway, and there was a bumper sticker. I've been paying a lot more attention to bumper stickers because that's the last chapter of the book. And the bumper sticker said, "Use your turn signal." And I thought, now here's a woman that has taken the time to buy a sticker. She spent her money, put it on the back of her car to send a message to all of us on the Beltway to use the turn signal. What did she do? She got in the wrong exit lane and with no turn signal pulled right in front of me. Not walking the talk. It's amazing to me how many people, make a message their own, but then don't live that message. And speaking of turn signals, as I talk about in the book, how many people on the highways don't use their turn signals, but how many people on the road of life don't use their turn signals? If we could do a better job signaling each other, Dara, I'm turning left now, I'm about to do something that will affect you, and did I give you fair warning? Did I communicate? I think just that message in our marriages and in our work relationships and our personal friendships of using our turn signals more effectively, using our communication skills more effectively, is going to be a great takeaway from the program.
Absolutely. And Andrew, I think that's true. You bring up 2 points. One is all about integrity, and
Yes.
that's walking our talk.
Yes.
And then the other is really purposefulness and clarity of vision. Where are we going? And so I think we're all so busy right now that we don't realize, oh my God, the exit's there. We're on our cell phones. We're multitasking. And so we don't realize we have to get off now. And so we really need to slow down, get to a place of grace, and make space for it to come into our lives. But that way we can be more fully present and be our best in our relationships, in our work, in our marriages, and in our families.
Well, you'll certainly enjoy your daily commute more if you take some time and attend the program, The Enlightened Driver.
Absolutely.